Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you find yourself in this weird, wild, wacky world of ours, and welcome to another exciting installment of Vampire the Requiem, a Requiem for London. This evening's scene takes place in the back of a nondescript pub located somewhere on the fringes between Carthian and more than likely Ordo territory, or possibly going into the neutral ground that has been since uneasily carved. Ben Smith has sent out the call, and several kindred have answered. But yeah, Ben, if you'd like to do any descriptions or anything like that, seems like good.
That's fine enough. Just
Okay.
basically, Ben has quartered off a back room of this pub, so that way we can all speak privately. That's about it.
In that case, let's just do some introductions. So, you know what? Dr. Hartwell and Isabel will appear seated in chairs right behind Ben, because it's funny. Actually, no, you couldn't. You couldn't. You could, in theory, break my obfuscate. They'll just walk up to you because I don't want to fuck around with dice rolls. Behold how much I don't care today.
You could just say that Ben knew. This one's like, oh, Jesus, fuck.
Always lovely to see you again, Mr. Smith.
It is about as much of a pleasure as a conversation like this could go.
Well, I'll just sit myself down then.
Yeah. Ben just crashes in one of the chairs, rocks back a bit.
I told you I was a shit fighter, so I brought my dad.
Don't you have, any, moves his fingers around?
Well, I mean, yeah, but... She shrugs.
Fascinating.
Charlie probably walks in at this point. It's just like, you can't assume every single person is a blood sorcerer.
I did not assume you were a blood sorcerer.
Then you haven't met the good bishop.
She kind of looks a little confused. Is like, I'm not.
Oh, no. Of course, you believe the power comes from God. I apologize.
Wait, no. She kind of wiggles her fingers the way Ben is like, no, I don't know.
Oh, you don't? Oh, my apologies. Hartwell liked to... Most I could do.
No, you're fine.
Hartwell is going to just light a cigarette. He uses one of those electric spark lighters rather than a flaming lighter, but he's going to offer a cigarette to anyone around the table who wants to take one.
Charlie will take one, and then just kind of take a long drag off of it and go, so, what's the plan?
Oh, shit. So
we'll just let, I was going to say, we should just let our last person join us and then go into the plan.
Violet tonight is in a formal lab coat sort of ensemble. She's clearly just come off of work. She kind of walks in, just looks around the room and says, "Good evening, Ben."
Good evening, Doc. Alright.
Does everyone here have a fucking PhD?
I have 3.
I don't have a PhD.
I don't.
I just joins the table, just looking dismissively around, for God's sakes.
Alright. So. Pretty sure Chav's in. Just is rubbing his temples. We have the Twickenham Stadium, which is a Carthian coteries haven, so it's neutral enough territory for Verve. What else? I can get my hands on some knives, some lead pipes. I don't know. I got fucking whiskey, some rags.
I'm gonna caution against trying to make Molotov cocktails given the nature of our existence.
I'd rather not have to deal with fire again so soon after the last time.
Yeah, the sewers were a fun time, weren't they, Alexander?
Mhm.
uh,
I don't know what you're talking about. But
Hmm. In our defense, he says, looking at Charlie, we won, or at least survived.
You know, I probably wouldn't have known the difference given that I was frenzying since you started that bullshit.
all right. I also have a stake from the crone, which should be able to knock Verve down hard if it goes off. Even if it doesn't fully go off, from what Alicat said, it should at the very least slowly kill her.
Fascinating.
Yes. So, who here's good with knives? Stake a bitch.
Knives and steaks are two incredibly different things.
It's all fucking things you stab shit with, ain't it?
Somewhat.
No, but if you're gonna knife somebody, you go for different bits. But like with a steak, you gotta kind of like shove it in between the. It's
All
a
right.
lot.
Okay, then who's good at staking people?
I might be able to manage it.
How stealthy are you?
Somewhat.
By blood or by skill?
Skill.
Ah.
Oh. Hmm. Are we sure that this magic crone stake will work?
I mean, Alicat has spoken to its efficiency firsthand, so.
Yes, but then again, Miss Alley Cat was the individual who. Never mind, I digress. Let's just put it like this: I don't exactly trust her nascent good sense and ability to conjugate facts.
More importantly, how are we going to get Verve into a position where we can actually stake her?
Well, this is still effectively a meeting between Carthians and Carthians. While there is some assistance from outside.
Are you sure that the kindred in the Twickenham Stadium? Yes, Twickenham. Are you sure that they can be relied on? AKA, do they know what we're going to pull, or are they, well, will they rally to her defense?
From what I understand of the peaceful sort, they aren't the type to want to fight. And considering the way things going, Verve will put them in a shallow grave sooner or later. It's probably the best bet to see Verve dead.
But all right, even if they're not fighting, one, are they going to go get help? Two, are they high enough on whatever Kool-Aid she's drinking to be stupid enough to try to kill themselves for her?
The only people stupid enough at this point to want to kill themselves for her are the guillotines.
So, I've got a question, Mr. Smith. Are there currently Carthian hit squads located all around the city ready to obliterate the rest of the guillotines when it is that Verve dies?
I would imagine so.
Oh, good.
It also could just be that they frenzy and just get offed by Invictus as they have been for the past few weeks.
A bunch of frenzy and guillotiners isn't going to be a good look for the masquerade.
Isn't going to be a good look. Well, I'm just saying that the guillotines are just going to throw themselves to the wolves regardless.
I've been having meetings recently with members all up and down this city, as currently, due to my superiors' strict cultist leanings, I am somewhat persona non grata in my own organization. Now, I've been hearing some very interesting things, mostly from the Circle of the Crone, he says as he kind of briefly lets his eyes flick towards his shoulder. So, from what I'm led to understand, a large section of the Circle are backing Stanforth in his attempt to be prince on the proviso that they replace the sanctified as the spiritual, moral guardians of the realm after his ascension. Disquieting.
Charlie just makes like a sour face.
And Sandforth has already agreed to these terms, or at least I believe he has. So, my question is, at the end of the day, there's also Morgan and her lot, and my brothers and sisters and the followers of Set. Who of the three made this stake?
If I had to guess, it was from Morgan, considering that the favor owed by Alicat was from Morgan.
Ugh. Well,
I hate that.
she is a complication, because as we all know, she seeks the praxis. At the end of the day, if the stake is phony, well, she can clean Alicat and a few others up and get on good terms with the guillotiners and become the third outside contendant for the praxis. So, do you have the stake?
Yep.
May I see it?
He'll pass it over.
Yeah, I'll make a roll, but basically, I assume it is genuine. Just Hartwell's paranoid AF.
Yeah.
So I'll ask Chris some questions when we go to do our main scene, but I'm going to assume that it's all pucker and it's all above board. So he's just going to spirits touch that thing real quick.
I'm going to be real. If this was a fake one, considering what she owes Alicat, I'd be surprised.
In my line of work, it's better to never trust the fact that individuals will not fuck you over at the last minute.
Oh, I understand this, and I figured.
He flicks it kind of between his fingers. All right, seems to be genuine. He kind of he puts it down on the table and shook it back towards Ben.
Yeah.
There's still the problem of staking the bitch.
Cut her legs off. Not a joke.
I'm assuming you know. You told me about fucking Graham.
I've told you about Mr. Grayman, yes.
Considering his particular position and Burb's possible relation to him.
Oh, Mr. Smith, you've just given me an idea. You see Hartwell turn, and he has an odd sadistic smile that spreads from one corner of his face to another. There is one situation in which Verve, were she to act, would place herself in danger, but also would not guarantee her guards would immediately jump to those who put her down. All one of us has to do is make her frenzy. Then a staking is for her own good, after all, and to protect those around her.
That is a wise idea.
Yeah, considering the last times that Grayman was on.
Absolutely. Grayman would have been her superior during the last war. How much she knows about him, I don't know, but they would have been friends, comrades. Maybe you can use that, Mr. Smith, to drive her to such a point.
Yeah. Either that, or if it seems to be going well enough, we could run with the line and just somebody. It's at least enough to throw her off guard.
So, your idea, just so I'm understanding properly, is to take an already very volatile person who has a penchant for violence and piss them off more with hopes that people will just stop because it's for our own good, and we're not going to ignore the fact that that's going to make this 10 times more dangerous for the rest of us.
In all fairness, though, Grayman's a particular topic. He's been considered dead for at least 25 years. It is a sore spot for what I imagine most Carthians that were around at that time.
No. I'm not saying your ability. I'm not questioning your ability to piss her off. Trust me, I'm sure you could throw a rock in her general direction and the woman would frenzy. What I'm saying is a good idea to make her frenzy.
She would become uncontrolled. Her own guards would if she has them, would more than likely not view an attempted staking as a fatal maneuver, because after all, they have to protect her. And if she is staked, and then that does indeed render her down to ashes, well, we'll have time, if nothing else.
They might even help with the staking.
And we're not going to ignore the fact that purposely pissing her off is already going to be seen as an inherently violent action towards her.
Realistically, this is not the brightest of situations. I'd say we give it a shot.
It's just a matter of the way that it's approached. After all, this is important information to be passed down through the Carthians, after all. The understanding that this man still exists. At the very least, even if it doesn't make her frenzy, it'd make her pause. At least everybody who'd be there. I would imagine her closest confidants would have been side by side with her during that battle.
There's not only that, there's also the matter of how this all happened. Would you like to hear, Mr. Smith, would you like to hear an interesting story?
Why not?
Well, 25 years ago, Mr. Graves and Mr. Grayman and our dear Prince Graves fought each other in a burning building, one-on-one, mano-a-mano, until the Maquette, in the form of Graves, came out victorious. But the Carthians left him there. They abandoned him. That is why he is so filled with rage. His own side didn't come for him. He crawled alone and broken, beaten and bloody into the sewers, and they simply gave him up for dead. For someone like Verve, who prides herself, well, on her mentality, she left someone behind. She left him to die. She didn't save him.
So we remind her of her failure?
That could do it.
It also could be a matter of context. As long as it seems like I'm well-intentioned with this information that's being given to her, at the very least, her guards might not be too suspicious of me. Especially considering that I've done, well, death-defying feats for her, so...
And how do you get the rest of us in there? Because this particular group of people going into the Carthian territory isn't going to be that normal.
The Crone should most likely be fine. At least on some level, they're still allies with the Carthians. Or at least I imagine Morgan and the Setites. The Sanctified used to be nominal allies with the Carthians, and it can be played off as possibly an understanding of what's happening in the dire straits we're in.
Oh, they won't see me, my dear. There's no need to worry about it.
Oh, I mean, I was just going to say that you're the man who gave me enough information, hence why you're here.
But yes, they won't see me. Don't worry.
I was just say, after all, you do things for money.
I am known to, yes.
And I may or may not have already tried to sell your services to both. That was a long time ago.
The war is turning. I'm an arms dealer, after all.
So does anybody else have any ideas?
Alright, if we're hinging this plan on staking her and getting her to frenzy just so it looks right, then we still need to circle back around to the problem of Verve isn't like an elder or whatever, but she still knows how to handle herself.
She's at least a century old, from what I've been able to ascertain. So, she's older than me by some decades, but how potent her blood is, other questions of that regard, I don't know.
I can pick around my particular network to try and see if I can find any particular information on Verve. Maybe some other hole to punch in her.
No, hurting her feelings is great. I'm all for hurting feelings. It's the best thing. I'm real good at it. But this does not circling back around to the fact of how the fuck are we going to hit her physically?
What I'm saying is that we can look into what she could do, and then figure out how we punch a hole in her from there.
Well, I mean,
Do we
Miss
have
Burnett.
time for that at this point?
Harwell looks at Charlie and he'll say, "A question. I don't really do swords, axes, knives, and other things like that. Are you proficient with them?
More or less.
I can make you invisible if you'd like."
She kind of like puts a hand to her temple and sighs and mutters something about how we're all going to die.
We're all gonna die. If it helps, Charlie, both you and I have enough celerity to get the fuck out.
Hey, I have a good amount of celerity. Shush you.
Okay, it's called Run Rabbit Run.
All right. So if you make me invisible, and she frenzies, and I just axe her and hope for the best.
Wait, is Chris in this room?
No.
Oh no, he's in the RP chat. All right. In that case, we have a vague semblance of a plan. As to, I suppose, the staking, we'll just have to play it by ear. I could make you invisible, Miss Barnett, quite easily, but there is also the option that, in theory, maybe one of us could hold her down. In all honesty,
Are any of us strong enough to do that?
Julian will most likely be strong enough to do that.
no. He has a very specific set of skills, and you must understand, Mr. Smith. How does one best express this? Based on his... How would one best explain this? He is very good in certain types of physical engagement, where it is that he can use wild brute savagery. Essentially, he uses frenzy as a weapon, but he is still frenzied. He will not just hold her, if you understand me.
Okay, I cannot believe I'm suggesting this. I am a real slippery person, if you catch my meaning. She kind of like, you kind of see her like take her feet and literally invert them,
Ew.
and she like inverts her wrists and elbows too.
That is not something I wanted to see tonight.
I'm
Yeah.
double jointing it. Get over yourself.
I've seen worse. That's not terrible.
No, the point is it makes it real hard for me to hold on to, and if she's focused on trying to keep me in her grip, it might distract her.
Well, as I said, Mr. Smith, at the end of the day, for the Carthian movement to move forward, it must be you who kills Verve Thackeray. Or a Carthian. If I do it, then I will just be another murderer. Prince Graves is subject who has murdered and created an icon of Verve. The order, or the movement, must be her executioner.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Perhaps between myself and Miss Burnett, we may be able to hold her. Who knows?
Alexander, just call me Charlie. The whole Miss Barnett thing, and no.
As you like, Charlie.
Alright, so we're doing this. Just rubs his face.
We are indeed doing this. In that case, I shall wish us all luck.
Are y'all all well fed?
Yes.
I'm good.
Yes.
Good, because you're gonna need it.
Oh yeah.
Certainly.
In that case, well. Oh, there's a Chris. Everyone wave at the Wooloo.
Hello.
It's Vampire the Requiem, or Requiem for London.
A requiem for murder.
Actually, Chris, since you're here, because there was a roll made that I do need clarification on, because we are all sus as fuck about the crone. I spirits touched the death stake. And I, Jesus.
Yeah.
What is all that noise? Good God. Sorry. So I spirits touched the death stake. I got 5 successes. Does the death stake do what it's meant to do? Or what is the effect? What is the magical effect on the death stake?
Ali Cat gave you the death stake.
Yeah, Saskia can't be here, so we just were like, she gives him to Ben
Okay.
when she can, just because she couldn't be here, and that was like her
What
prep work for
was,
this.
what was so what are your questions for the death stake?
What is it? What is its magical effect? Basically, Hartwell wants to make sure it's not a dud.
Okay. You see a vision of yourself having this stake implanted into your chest. The moment it even so much as grazes your heart, your body slowly crumples to ash from the inside out, ending your vision quite abruptly.
Hartwell kind of shudders. Okay, a couple more questions. How many uses does this stake have, or is it only one?
In the sense that when your body crumples to ash, so does the stake.
Okay. Who made it?
Image of this person.
Oh no, she's hot.
We can always count on Lid for the big lesbian energy.
I hate her.
Oh, that's Morgan, isn't it?
He recognizes that based off of Isabel's resentment.
What did hang on. What did Alley Cat do to earn you?
Has to be about the item. Can't answer a question about somebody else.
Okay.
You could ask
Yeah.
that question if you were to use Auspex to an Alley Cat at some point. You could ask that question about her.
Yeah, that's fine. In that case, yeah, that's all I need to know. So yeah, he's happy. He does the exact same thing he does. He gives the stake back to Ben and basically goes, "Yeah, no, it's
just-
genuine."
I'm just gonna keep this image up just so that Isabel can know that Morgan is judging her from
No,
a great
no,
distance.
please keep it up.
Good. No, she can fucking judge me all she wants. I'm judging right back.
There you go.
Yeah.
I made it better.
10 out of 10. Yes.
Stares at you judgingly.
I made it better.
She's
God,
sus as
please.
fuck.
You're gonna give her like a mustache and some horns.
Oh my god.
She knows who the imposter is.
Well, she has big like Byakuya Togami energy right now.
Not wrong.
Gosh, what was going on?
People are being horny, stupid, and in Shimmer's case, I don't know, angry.
No, it's not because she's sus as fuck.
To be fair, so was Hartwell.
I was not angry.
You've all failed me.
Listen, at least I know what Hartwell's at least trying to do. It's fucking.
Do you though?
I'll-
Do you?
Does anyone know what Hartwell's trying to do?
Oh, that's fair.
See, never agrees with me.
Ben knows that you want to basically kill anything that isn't Graves.
Graves is my friend, though. Hashtag Maquette Master Race.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, I'm okay with this. Anyway, I'm just gonna mute myself, and you can all chat about stuff, and then it's gonna hit 1:30.
I think that we were actually just done when you arrived. We were just standing up to go.
Excellent. I'm glad to have derailed this scene for the past 5 minutes.
It's what you do best, Chris.
In that case, thank you players for playing. Thank you watchers for watching. This has been another scene in Vampire the Requiem, a Requiem for London. Hashtag the main reason I did this scene was to get 2 scene beats for today, but that's neither here nor there.
Damn
And I
it.
pushed the button.